Assalamu alaikum. How are you doing? Hope you are doing good by the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So after many grammar and composition classes, today we are going to read a poem, The Daffodils. And this poem has been composed by William Wordsworth. And you know that William Wordsworth is also known as the poet of nature, right? So, do you know what are the daffodils? The daffodils are yellow colored, lovely flowers, right? And they are grown in groups. So, these flowers are especially found in the countryside of England, and they are large bell-shaped flowers, and they are usually surrounded by large pointed petals of same yellow color. Right, girls? So let's read this poem. So this is the first stanza. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high o'er vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Continuous as the stars did shine and twinkle on the Milky Way, they stretched in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in a sprightly dance. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay in such a jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. For oft, when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. And then my heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils. So the poet name is here, that's William Wordsworth. So come to the new words, come to the list of new words. Let's discuss them first. So the first word here in the list is wander, and this is a word. And English meaning of this word is walked here and there without any purpose, and its synonyms are moved or strolled, and Urdu meaning is bila maqsad ghumna. The next word here is vale. Vale is a noun and its synonym is valley, and Urdu and English meaning is a space between hills or mountains, and Urdu meaning is wadi. So the next word here is host. Host is a noun and its synonym is lot, and English meaning is great number or group, and Urdu meaning is badi taadad mein. Next word here is fluttering. Fluttering is a word and it means moving in the breeze, and its synonym is waving, and Urdu meaning is lehrana. And the next word here is breeze. Breeze is noun. It means gentle wind. Urdu meaning is taza hawa. The other word in the list is continuous. Continuous is an adjective and it means constant or going on without a break. Urdu meaning is musalsal. The next word here is Milky Way. Milky Way is a noun. A Milky Way is actually a galaxy, and Urdu meaning is kehkashan. In English meaning we can say that a Milky Way is a bright belt of stars in the sky. So the other word here is bay. Bay is noun, and a कोई खलीज या खाड़ी. The next word here is actually not a word, this is a phrase, and that is at a glance. At a glance is a phrase, and glance is a noun, and it means quick look or glimpse, एक नजर या झलक. So the next word in the list is tossing. Tossing is word, and it means rocking or rising and falling. Urdu meaning is lehrana. The other word in the list is sprightly. Sprightly is an adjective. It means lively or brisk or active. जिंदादिली से या खुश मिजाजी से. The other word here is outdid. Outdid is a word. This is the second form of outdo, and it means did better than. बेहतर होना या सबकत ले जाना. So the next word in the list is sparkling. Sparkle is actually a verb, but when we say sparkling, so that can be an adjective too, and it means shining, twinkling, and Urdu meaning is chamakna or ya jhilmilana. The other word in the list is glee. A glee is noun, and it means delight or pleasure or happiness. Urdu meaning is khushi. The next word here is jocund. Jocund is an adjective. It means cheerful, happy or lively. Urdu meaning is khush ya zinda dil. So the next word in the list is gazed. Gazed is a word, and it means stared or looked with wonder. शौक से देखना या हैरानी से देखना. So the next is a phrase in the list, and this phrase is what wealth, and it means what happiness. So we can say in Urdu क्या खुशी और खुशियाँ. Next one is another phrase, and this is the show. It means the scene, and Urdu meaning is manzar. The next word in the list is oft. Oft is an adverb, and it means often, many a times, and Urdu meaning is aksar. Oft is actually an archaic word, and an archaic word actually किसी भी लैंग्वेज का वो वर्ड होता है जो बहुत ज़्यादा इस्तेमाल में नहीं होता. यानी मॉडर्न टाइम इंग्लिश में ऑफ्ट का इस्तेमाल कम हो चुका है. So that is an archaic word. The next word here is vacant. Vacant is an adjective, and it means leisure time or free or empty. Urdu meaning is khali ya farigh awqat. So the other word in the list is pensive. Pensive is an adjective, and its English meaning is seriously thoughtful, सोच बचार में या सोच में डूबा हुआ. So the next word in the list is flash. Flash is a noun as well as a verb. This is a noun and verb too. Flash एक noun भी है और एक verb भी है. But here we are taking it as a noun, and it means sudden bright light, and it also means sparkle. And Urdu meaning is अचानक से चमकना या रोशनी का झमाका. The next word here is, this is also a phrase in word eye, and it means deep look or power to see the past experience in mind. Urdu meaning is माजी के मुतालिक सोचना. It means that when we say inward eye, so we are talking about some of our past memory, or we are talking about some of our memory. So the last phrase here is bliss of solitude, and it means great joy of being alone. Actually, bliss means joy or happiness, and solitude is loneliness. So combinedly, it means great joy of being alone. And its Urdu meaning is tanhai ki khushi. So this is the word list. Now come to the book. So we could elaborate the poem. So come to the poem, The Daffodils. First we will read the introduction of poet. The poem is written by the famous English poet William Wordsworth. He was born in the beautiful Lake District of England in the year 1770. From his early days, he was very fond of flowers, birds, lakes, rivers, rocks, and trees. He used to spend much time enjoying their beauty. He used to take long tours on foot and visit the beautiful natural scenes which he loved so much. He started a new kind of poetry written in simple words about natural objects and simple country people. He died in 1850. So in the start of the lecture, we have discussed that William Wordsworth is known as the poet of nature, and he composed simple kind of poetry. He composed poetry in simple words, and mostly he wrote poetry about natural objects and about simple countryside people or simple country people. So let's elaborate the stanzas. So the first stanza here is, I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high o'er vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. So, actually poet is saying in the first stanza that he was moving here and there aimlessly, just as a cloud. That is a beautiful resemblance. Like a cloud seems to be so light and look to be joyful. So Wordsworth is telling us that he was walking around in joyful and carefree manner, just like a cloud that floats, that moves and slides slowly and lightly over valleys and hills or mountains. So when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, and suddenly he noticed a crowd. What kind of crowd? He saw a lot of golden flowers of daffodils. He came across great number of beautiful daffodils. Beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. So all these daffodils, all these flowers were near the lake and under the trees. It means that there was a beautiful scene. There was a lake and a lot of green trees were also there, and by the side of the lake and underneath the trees there were a lot of pretty and nice looking golden daffodils, and those all daffodils were moving with the light wind. They were fluttering, they were waving and shaking in the pleasant breeze and seemed to be dancing with the gentle air. So what Wordsworth says in the first stanza, one day, एक दिन just like a cloud, एक बादल की तरह जो वादियों और पहाड़ों के ऊपर तैरता फिरता है, वो यहाँ वहाँ घूम रहे थे, जब अचानक उन्होंने सुनहरे फूलों का एक झुंड देखा जो झील के किनारे दरख्तों के नीचे मौजूद थे और खुशगवार हवा में झूम रहे थे. Right? So come to the second stanza. Continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way, they stretched in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance. tossing their heads in sprightly dance. So, in the second stanza, poet says that the daffodils were spreading without any break. They were continuous just as the stars shine and glitter in the sky and twinkle and shimmer on the Milky Way, on the galaxy. And they stretched in never-ending line along the margin of a bay, and it seemed that they had no ending. They had no limit. Daffodils extended there as they had no boundary, no end. And all those flowers were there along the bank of a lake, and they all were beautifully grown alongside of the bay of a lake. So next poet says that 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in a sprightly dance. So poet says in these lines that he could see 10,000 flowers in a glimpse. 10,000 is a big number. It means that there were grown almost countless flowers. There were golden flowers everywhere, as far as an eye could see. So, the poet saw uncountable beautiful flowers, beautiful golden daffodils in just a look, in just a glance, in just a glimpse. So, and those all daffodils were rising and falling in the air just as they are dancing lively and happily, and as the flowers move in the gentle wind, so they seemed to be rocking and dancing, right? Rocking and dancing with the breeze, with the gentle wind. So come to the third stanza. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay in such a jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. So, here in this stanza, Wordsworth compares the daffodils with the waves of lake. In second stanza, he compared the daffodils with stars, and now he is comparing with waves. अच्छा, second stanza में उन्होंने क्या कहा था? सेकेंड स्टैंजा में उन्होंने हमसे कहा था कि वो जो गोल्डन फ्लावर्स या जो डैफोडिल्स थे वो इस तरह मुसलसल नज़र आ रहे थे जैसे आसमान पर दूर दूर तक सितारे चमकते हैं और कहकशां की झुरमट में जगमगाते हैं। बिल्कुल इसी तरह डैफोडिल्स भी एक ना ख़त्म होने वाली तादाद में नज़र आते थे जो झील के किनारे फैले हुए थे। एंड वर्ड्सवर्थ फर्दर सेज कि वो एक नज़र के अंदर 10,000 फ्लावर्स देख सकते थे, यानी फूलों की एक बहुत बड़ी तादाद थी वहाँ पर जो एक नज़र में दिखाई देती थी और वो लहराते हुए और रक्स करते हुए महसूस होते थे, डांस करते हुए महसूस होते थे। Right, girls? So in this stanza, in third stanza which we have read just right now, so in this stanza he is comparing the daffodils with waves, with sparkling waves, and he says that the waves of lake were also flowing and moving just beside the flowers and seemed to be dancing, but the flowers were outclassed and they are dancing and fluttering and tossing better than the shining, sparkling waves. So the flowers were as moving as they are very happy, as they are in some happiness or in glee. Glee is happiness. So they were, it seems that they were dancing in glee or in happiness. And then poet says that a poet could not but be gay in such a jocund company. Usually a poet is a sensitive and a thoughtful person, a serious person. But here he says that he got so much happy and carefree in such a lively company, in such a jocund company, in such a happy company, in such a carefree company. And he also feels happiness there. He also feels lively and lovely in such a beautiful company. And he became light-hearted and cheerful when he found such a beautiful and pleasant companionship of daffodils, pleasant companionship of flowers. And then he says, I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. Now he is saying that he looked at flowers with wonder and with amazement, but thought a little. He stared at them in great surprise, in great astonishment, and he thought that the beautiful golden flowers had brought a great wealth of happiness. What wealth? A great wealth of happiness and pleasure to him. These flowers had brought a great wealth of joy and delight to him. And the scene of dancing daffodils gave him a great treasure of glee and delight. Right, girls? So वर्ड्सवर्थ इस स्टैंजा में क्या कह रहे हैं? इस स्टैंजा में वो डैफोडिल्स को और पानी की वेव्स को कंपेयर कर रहे हैं कि दोनों खुशी में रक्स करते हुए महसूस होते हैं, लेकिन फूलों की खुशी और रक्स पानी की लहरों से बढ़कर है। और एक पोएट जो आमतौर से सेंसिटिव और सीरियस नेचर के होते हैं, मगर डैफोडिल्स की खूबसूरत और प्लेजेंट मौजूदगी ने पोएट को भी एक ग्रेट हैप्पीनेस दी है, एक अजीम खुशी से हमकिनार किया है। और वो उन फूलों को हैरत के आलम में, एस्टॉनिशमेंट में देखते चले गए। गेज्ड इज लुक विद वंडर, तो खुशी से और हैरत से देखते रह गए वो। और डैफोडिल्स के इस नज़ारे ने गोया खुशियों का एक ख़जाना वर्ड्सवर्थ को दे दिया है। राइट, सो कम टू द लास्ट स्टैंजा। So, in the last stanza, for oft when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude, and then my heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils. So, in the last stanza, Wordsworth is sharing his own feelings for the daffodils, and he says that when he lies on his couch in his leisure time or when he is in thoughtful mood, the scene of attractive, lovely, beautiful, pretty daffodils comes to his mind, and they flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. So whenever poet has free time or has serious mood, in both the situations, they flash back to his memory. And this is a great enjoyment and happiness for him when he is all alone. Bliss is happiness and solitude is loneliness. So the remembrance of dancing daffodils gives him pleasure and gladness in loneliness. And with the remembrance of daffodils, and then my heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils, and his heart fills with happiness and pleasure. And the remembrance of golden flowers provides him treasure of pleasure, and his heart starts dancing with the daffodils. His heart dances with the daffodils means that his heart feels same happiness, glee and liveliness just as the fluttering, tossing and sparkling daffodils showed. Right girls? So in the last stanza, आखिरी stanza में वर्ड्सवर्थ अपनी फीलिंग्स एक्सप्रेस कर रहे हैं कि जब उनके पास फ्री टाइम हो
या वो सीरियस थॉटफुल मूड में हों और अपनी काउच पर लेटे हुए हों तो डैफोडिल्स का मंजर उनके जहन में आ जाता है और तन्हाई में उनको एक हैप्पी और प्लेजेंट फीलिंग्स देता है और उनका दिल खुशी से भर जाता है और डैफोडिल्स के साथ झूमने लगता है। जिस तरह कोई भी खुशगवार याद हमें अच्छी महसूस होती है, इसी तरह डैफोडिल्स का सीन भी वर्ड्सवर्थ को हमेशा खुशियाँ देता है। Right? So it is said that a thing of beauty is a joy forever. एक खूबसूरत चीज़ हमेशा की खुशी मुहैया करती है या हमेशा खुशी मुहैया करती है। So Wordsworth is the poet of nature. So he says that natural beauty provides us joy and pleasure, and we forget all our distress and sorrows and start enjoying the happiness which natural beauty brings to us. And this happiness is not timing, is not for a little time, this is everlasting. So this beautiful poem which was full of flowers ends here. And yes, tell me one thing, do you have any experience like Wordsworth? Has this ever happened to you? So if yes, share it with your class fellows and English teacher right after the opening of schools. Alright? So inshallah, in the next class, we will do the exercise of RTC. Till then, take care.